Okay. If you can't see the screen, Andrew, just log back in, log in and out again. I'm pretty sure it'll reset. Okay. Okay, so how do we fix this craziness, right? How do we fix this craziness that's going on in the markets? Well, as you guys know, I'm all about trading only very obvious and contextual situations. Now, in order for a market, in order for you to gain an edge over the professionals in the market, you can't do it. It's like, think of it like this, okay? Think of it like you're trying to beat, what do you call it, Conor McGregor in a fight, right? So you're trying to beat Conor McGregor in a fight. You're trying to exploit the markets. You're trying to take advantage of the market, right? Because trading is a zero-sum game. And if you're trying to take advantage of the market, what we're really saying is you're trying to take money from somebody else, okay? So in order for you to take money from somebody else, it's like poker. It's a zero-sum game. And in order for you to do that, you have to have some sort of edge over those people. Would you all agree? Right? So let me put it this way. If you were going to go and fight the best fighter in the world, like Conor McGregor or, Floyd Mayweather, like, if you were just going to walk into his gym on any day and pick a fight with him, and he was relaxed and calm, what do you think your chances of beating that professional fighter are? Zero, right? Zero, absolutely zero. You wouldn't even last 30 seconds, Andrew. You're being generous. You would last approximately 5 seconds, right? Andrew says 30 seconds. Nah, you wouldn't even last that long, okay? I'm an ex-boxer too myself, Dale. I fought for Pro-Am for several years and kickbox as well. So, yeah, you'd have no chance, right? So what makes you think that on any given day you can go and beat the professionals that are in the stock market? They're just as good. They have more money. They have more information. They have more knowledge than you. What do you think, just on any given day, if I'm trying to trade Apple, right? Let's say I'm trying to day trade Apple, right? On any given day, you see how Apple, it behaves very randomly? This is the professionals taking you in and out of that market. This is the professionals sucking you in to get you long, and then running your stops and kicking your ass, right? So you kind of get the point, right? On any given random day, if you're trying to trade against the professionals that have all of their focus on taking your money, forget about it, right? Just forget about it. It ain't going to happen with chart patterns or anything else, right? So as you guys already know, in my group, what I teach you to do is I teach you how to, first of all, join those professionals, right? And know what they're doing and why they're doing it, know how they're hunting all of those dumb retail investors. And that's what I teach you, because I'm uniquely qualified to do that as a floor trader, because I was one of those professionals and I know what we did to take your money, right? So we know that in our main course, right? Okay, now if we look at the stocks that we trade in our main course, and we're going to get to penny stocks in a second here, and what is the common trait that in my main stock trading course that on the stocks that we trade each day? What's the common trait? I'll answer it, but the common trait is that there's usually a big event and no randomness, right? Exactly. So Dale says no randomness, right? So in other words, we're trading usually an event or a news release or something where the professional, Conor McGregor, Floyd Mayweather, is so busy and so occupied that we got a chance against him. Does that make sense? Right? Because he's going to want all of your money. He's not even going to want to share the money with you and me. Right? So he's even going to know we're there. And he's not even going to want to share one penny with you or me if he can't. He's going to try to take as much money as he possibly can out of the retail pockets. That is how they've survived and lived and worked for 200 years, separating you from your money. Okay? So we have to put any chance of us beating him or joining him, we need him distracted. Right? So if Conor McGregor, I walked into Conor McGregor's gym and he was sparring with 3 other guys at the same time in the ring with him. And I jump into that ring with Conor McGregor. I now have at least a chance of lasting and surviving and getting out of it without being completely annihilated. Does that make sense? Right? And that is why everything that I teach you guys to do in my main class, everything I teach you guys to do in my main class is all about being in the right stocks at the right time. Because if you're trying to trade Apple, or you're trying to trade, some big name where this guy is at the top of his game, forget about it. All right? As my Italian ancestors would say. Forget about it. You're not having any chance. Okay. So we all know how to do that, and you guys are doing that very, very successfully so far in the course material. Okay. Now, what other markets can we do that in? Right? Are there other markets we can do that in? Now, you guys have seen John and I literally going apeshit trying to beat the Forex markets, because that market, it's never not random. That market makers and the professionals in those markets are in such control of that all the time. The only exception in the Forex markets are occasionally when there's news releases, right? But so the other market, which gives us tremendous edges, are penny stocks. Okay, so long explanation, but penny stocks. Okay. Now, why do penny stocks give us advantage? Because on any day, these things are moving 100%, 40%, 50%, and in some cases as much as 200%. Right? So we're going to review, and for those of you that may be watching this video, right? We're going to, yes, less competition, people who are sophisticated, right? As Andrew said. So we're going to review all the trades that I posted in the room. Now I'm going to bring this chat room over here, and I want everybody that's in this chat to confirm that they saw me make live 100% return on my money in 3 days. Now, will you guys just confirm, did you see me do that live and in real time in this chat room? Okay. I'm not making this up. I'm not going to go back and show you everything. But they saw me post real-time trades in real time. You can see everybody saying, Dale saying, yes, I did. John, it was amazing. Yes, we saw you work it live. Okay. So I want there to be no hesitation. This wasn't me past posting. This was me calling my trades out, telling you my stop, telling you my target in real time before it happened. And these guys saw me do that in real time. Okay? I have witnesses here that are real. Okay? So we're going to go back. We're going to review those penny stocks that I traded this week, just to give you guys an idea of, why you have to, how you have to adapt to those stocks. So we're going to start off with the first trade, which was on Wednesday on CTEK. Okay. All right. So let's go back and let's take a look at CTEK. And that was on Wednesday, which was September 30th? Yeah, September 30th. So on CTEK, what you have here is you've got this penny stock that is up on the day from the close to the open, 76%. That's a huge, huge, huge move, right? That's a huge, huge, huge move. Now, when I was looking at CTEK, if I were to look at a larger time frame, I can see a history of this penny stock and get a very, very good idea. Okay. Now, I'm not going to actually teach something right now per se, but I'm just going to give you an outline of things that are important when you're trading penny stocks. Okay. So the history is telling me a very large story. Obviously, this is dog crap company. Otherwise, it wouldn't be trading at $1, right? And it probably gone through several splits right here. Like it's so $6, but that split probably was 1 for 3. So it's a garbage company. Okay. Now I'm not going to get too much into the details of how we check and see that these are garbage companies most of the time, because that's going to be part of a course that I am going to be offering, right, as an additional thing later on. But we want to just get an idea of the daily and have kind of a top-down approach. Where is liquidity? Where is value? Where's support? Okay. Now my students all know how to find liquidity. They all know how to find value, and they all know how to learn who is controlling a market. So I'm not going to get into that, but for my students, just follow along. So when I look at this market, when it opens up on that day, when it opened up 70%, right? When I'm looking at that market, what am I seeing is, how significant this level is right here. And that's going to be some of the things that I teach when I actually offer my penny stock course, which is what this video is all about. Okay. But for now, let's just review the trade. So from a top-down approach, I got into this market somewhere around here. I worked a limit order at 180, right? Now I got filled. That did not work. Now, when I took that trade, I have to keep in mind first of all, the underlying backdrop. So we have the spider, which was up and strong on the day, or that's the IWM, which is the tracking stock for for that penny stock. Okay. Now, these are, by the way, there's some new people in my room today. The stuff that I'm showing you right now is very, very advanced trading. All right, very advanced. Okay, that's why I'm going to need to do an extra course on it, because my main course in itself, although it's good, it requires a lot of tweaking and adjustment. Okay, so I got short, worked a limit order there. Now immediately it slapped me in the face, right, and went against me. However, I had already planned for that to happen. And so what I did was, at this time, I think in the room, I posted my stop was 220. Okay, we can go back and check. But you can see here, I never got stopped out. Now, as the trade started to work for me, I was able to get out of that trade down here at this level. And I got out from 180 to 146. I made 30 cents on that trade. And that was pretty much my whole trade idea the entire day, was to just make about 30, 40 cents on that trade, call it a day. Now, I was going to trade it a little later on in the day, but it didn't really give me what I wanted to see, and then it spiked higher. Okay. Now, I think much later in the day, I did take another short on it here. Don't remember exactly, as we put in this triple top when we get this strong rejection here. And I did take another trade on it that slipped a little bit against me. And ultimately that trade, I got out of it at this liquidity level right there, right at that liquidity level. But the trade didn't work out as much as I'd liked it to. Okay. The next trade that we were trading on the same day was NTRP. Okay, and that was on the same day, I believe. It's NTRP. It wasn't NTRP. It was something else. You guys remember that trade? There's two trades on the first day. I didn't keep my Wednesday list. I kept my Thursday and Friday list. NM. Oh well, I don't want to drag this video on. Let's go to Thursday, okay? So there was another big trade that we traded on Thursday, okay? All right. Now, let's go to Thursday, which was the next day. So by the end of Wednesday, I had made approximately 25% on the account. Okay. And by the way, guys, it's here, I'm gonna just show you quickly, see if I can find it. Really quickly. I don't want to scroll back. Maybe somebody could scroll back really quickly for me and just go find what those trades were on Wednesday as I continue here. Oh, okay, ITRM, John, thank you. John said ITRM. So ITRM was the other one that I made money with on Wednesday. Thanks, John. Okay. So on Wednesday, let's look at ITRM. Okay. Now, ITRM, look at the move pre-market. It opens up 155% and goes as high as 300%. 300%. Now, remember what I told you. If Conor McGregor was fighting 5 guys at the same time, you might have a chance to take a little piece of him, right? That's what we're getting at. So this market maker has so many people that he has to fill orders against that we do have a shot against this guy. He's so busy and preoccupied. Obviously, we want to join him like we always do, right? And to do that, you need to go through the full order flow clause. But so this was my trade, okay? Now, what happened is it halted once, twice, 3, 4 times. Now, after it halted the 4th time, this is where I made a huge amount of money, okay? I got short on the halt, just before the halt, at $2. With a stop up here at 250, right? Now, it halted right here, and now I'm scared as crap because I have to sit out this halt, and hopefully it's just the right kind of halt. It's not the type of halt where they make a big news announcement. And we're going to get back to this in a second, but I just want to review the trade. So real quickly, I got short before the halt. The halt worked out in my advantage, and I got out of that trade down here with good profits, and I got out of that trade right there with good profits. I made 50 cents on that trade. And then I got back into the trade twice. I got back into the trade here, and I got back into the trade here. Okay. This last trade did not work out. I think I got stop break even. And then actually I got back into the trade a 3rd time here. And that's what gave me the lion's share of my money on that day. Okay. So by the end of this day, I had taken that $12,000 account to about 17,000. And I want everybody to just confirm that they saw me do that live. If I'm lying, call me a liar. If it's true, say it's true. Okay. Okay. You'll see they're all going to say yes, yes, yes. Okay. All right. Good. All called out in real time. 100% true. See that right there, guys. Get all called out in real time. Okay. Now, let's move on to Thursday. Now, Thursday, we were trading SLDB. Okay. Now, again, in order to trade like this, you have to know how the market maker's thinking. You have to know where liquidity is. You have to expand your horizon to larger time frames. Okay? Because the larger time frames are going to become very significant, right? Because you can see these are crap companies. They don't do anything. So you've got to know where all the key levels are on the larger time frames. All right. Now, again, I don't want to teach a class right now. I just want to tell you what's really important that you have to do when you're trading these things. So real quickly, SLDB, I got short on SLDB here, right, at 570, made money on that one. The other trade which made me really good money on Thursday was WWR, right? Now, WWR, I got short straight off the bat. I didn't even need to wait for much on this one because the larger time frame was telling me that this was a fairly short, very safe trade. I got straight off of the bat. I think I got short here at 301, covered at 270, got back into it. If you guys will remember here, I took some heat on that trade. Ultimately, that trade came back and broke me break even. You guys remember that? And then finally, now this trade does not look like much, but SPI was a really good trade, or ADES was the other one that I got short on Thursday. So by the end of Thursday, I think we are up almost 70%, right, guys? I think by the end of Thursday, we were up almost 70%. The $12,000 account went to, I believe, around 18,000, 19,000 by the end of Thursday, right? Okay, and then Friday, we did something really unusual. We traded HUSY on Friday. Now, you might look at this stock and you might say to yourself, oh my God, Steve shorted HUSY on Thursday. It doesn't look like much, right? On the smaller time frame, this stock does not look like much. But I was able to get short this stock on the smaller time frame, and knowing how to read the order flow on the larger time frame, put a stop right about there. And I was able to get, it doesn't look like much, but I was able to get 2-to-1 on my money quite easily. Very, very easily on that stock, because it was the larger time frame was telling me that that was a good trade, right? So we picked up another $1,000 on that, right? And then finally, XTNT was the other live trade that I called, right? And we got short on this one, again, based on a larger time frame analysis. I got short on this one, but I wanted to add to this one when it broke down here. Now, my order flow students will understand why I wanted to short this one on a breakdown of 212. I was actually in earlier on a larger time frame, but I was in that stock. And that just cracked, and it was gold. Now, I got out of this trade at 170, and I missed the lion's share. I probably should have held on to this trade for 150, right? And looking in hindsight, I should have added to the trade at 180 in hindsight, okay? Now, like I said, these trades were all called live in my room. My students saw me make 100% on an account from 12,000 to 24,000, right? All right. Now, as exciting and fantastic as that sounds, these trades are as wonderful as you can make 100%. These trades can also blow your account faster than you can blink and think. Okay? Because what can happen with these trades is if you don't know what you're doing, these type of trades, which looks like just regular order flow, okay, there it is right here. Watch this. This was a garbage stock trading at $1. A garbage stock. The fundamentals behind this company were absolutely horrible. Okay? Now, if you get into a trade like this and you do not have the most stringent, the most absolutely stringent risk controls in place, in other words, you need a platform to shut you down. And then once that platform shuts you down, not allow you to get back into it for the rest of the day if you're wrong, right? Because if you don't have that, you can see a stock like this that opens up 250% higher. You might say to yourself, oh my God, how much higher can it go? And you can even look at the daily on this thing, right? And you can say to yourself, that daily looks good. But as I've already given away here, this stock went up to $45 in one day. Now imagine that you got stuck in that short position at 3. Right? You got short here at 3. You don't honor your stop and get out at 4:30, or you add to your position. Next thing you know, the stock is 8. Let's say you have a small account. Let's say you have a $5,000 account. And let's say you're like a typical penny stock trader that they teach in the penny stock world, and you do 5% of that, right? So times 5%, right? Which means you're risking $250, right? Did I do that right? Yeah, $250. So you buy or you short $250 worth of a $3 stock, approximately 100 shares, right? It's 100 shares. Okay. Now you get short that at $3.50. Let's just say $3 for argument's sake, okay? Pre-market, whatever. How much money do you lose when that stock hits $45 a share? If you short that. Okay. So we have 100 shares short, 100, and that stock hits 45. Say goodbye to my little friend. Or how did Scarface say it? Say hello to my little friend. Bye-bye. Now your broker will never let you get there. You won't even get there. Your broker will liquidate you because it's too much risk for your broker at 25 or 30. They'll just take you straight out of that trade because you're getting past the 70% risk parameter, most brokers, right? So just like that, as fast as you can double accounts in these markets, you can lose it all. So you have to have the most stringent risk controls in place. Now, the other thing that's very insidious, and I'm going to use that word. Do you guys know the meaning of that word? Insidious. It's a mean word, right? That is like evil personified, right? The other thing that's insidious about these penny stocks is that what can happen is that you will get 10 trades that are nice and easy, like the one that I like the 5 that I just showed you, which I doubled my account on, and they will lull you into a sense of security, right? I got this game covered. I just made 100% on my money. I got it. They will lull you into that sense of security. And you'll just think this is just going to be like one of the other 5 that we just traded. Right? And you may enter here and get stopped out, and re-enter here and get stopped out, right? And then re-enter at 9 and get stopped out, right? At 10. So now you've got 1, 2, 3. So let's say that you're even good at placing your stops, right? Let's say that you're good at placing your stops and you honor your stops. You don't re-enter. But you just got stopped at 1, 2, 3. Enter here at 11. 4. Enter here at 15. 5 times before ultimately the stock spikes to 50 or 45 and then begins its descent. So now you're stopped out 5 times. So even if you're the best risk manager in the world, if you're risking 5% of your account times 5 stop outs, you just lost 25% of your account in one day on one stock. That should scare the hell out of you. Right? Now, so how do we trade these penny stocks? How do we make money from penny stocks? Well, I made another video earlier on it where I talked about the trades I took earlier in the week when I made 50%. But what we have to do is you have to put in a very small amount, let's say 5,000. When you double it, take out your 5,000. Now you only have house money. Okay? You double it again. Take out 2,500. We have 10,000. Take out 2,500. Go and pay your bills. Spend that money. Get it out of the account. Now you're left with 7,500. Double that. Take out $5,000. Now you're left with 10,000. Again, take that money out. Take it out the second that you get it. Take it out. I cannot tell you how many times I have made the mistake of saying, I'm going to take this small account and I'm going to run it up to $300,000-$400,000. Right? And I've done it. I did take a $5,000 account and I ran it to $100,000. But all it takes is that one trade, and they happen a lot more often than you think, right? So get your damn money out. Double that. Now take out, 7,500. Now you got 12,005. Double that. Now take out 10,000. Right? You got 15,000. Double that. Oh, sorry. Right? So now you have 30,000. Take out 12,500. Okay? Get the money out of the account, pay your bills. I don't care what you do with it, buy groceries, pay your debts off, do whatever you have to do, but get that money out. Now, here it is 6 or 7 months later. You guys saw me double an account in 3 days. It's not hard to do, right? It's not hard to do, but ultimately you're going to run into one of these devils that's going to, if you leave it all in there, get it out of the goddamn account, pay, you know, whatever, just get that money out and spend that money. So now here it is 6 months later, you still have a 300% return on in your penny stock account, but how much have you withdrawn? Did anybody keep track of that? Right? What was it? What was it like? Would you say we took out almost half of that? So you took out $20,000 approximately, if not more, and you've paid your bills. You put it in a separate bank account. You've got it out of the risk of having this catastrophe day happen. Okay? So the temptation will be there to take a $5,000 account times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. All you have to do is make 100% returns 5 times, and you saw me do it in 3 days. Your $5,000 account's now $80,000. Let's say you do it once more. Let's say that now you got your account to 80K, and now you hit the SPMI devil. Now remember, your sizing is not going to be 100 shares anymore. So in other words, when we had that $5,000 account, we were trading 100 shares, right? But in this case, now we have an $80,000 account times 5%. You're trading 4,000 shares. So when you get trapped and it does that, all of your money goes poof. Now, if you don't think that happens to almost 100% of people that trade these types of penny stocks, you're sadly mistaken, because it has happened to me on more than one occasion. It's happened to me on several occasions, right? Where I've thought I was a genius, I've ran accounts, I get really consistent, and then you get lazy, sloppy, and complacent, and that happens, okay? And it will happen to every single one of you if you try to do that. The only answer is to come up with a detailed trade plan as to exactly what you want to do. Now, let's say that all you have is $5,000, and that's risk money to you. You're happy to lose that, right? Let's say that you decide, you know what? I'm more than happy to put $5,000 into this, but my goal is to make $100,000. And I can afford to lose that $5,000. 1 second, guys. So you have an extra $5,000 lying around. You were going to put it on horse races or, you know, whatever. It's spare money. You're financially stable. You can afford to do that. Okay, right? I'm going to take that 5,000 and I'm going to leave it in till it hits 100,000. That's a different story. That's a different story. You can leave it in, right? You can leave it in and go for it. So your 5,000, you can turn it into 100,000. Good on you. On the 2 occasions when I tried to do that, and what happened to me personally was I did take a $5,000 account. I ran it to 40. And then at 40 is when I hit my one stock, which was like an SPI. I can't even remember the name of it anymore, right? And the account dropped down to like 15,000. And then I just got fed up with trading penny stocks, and I went back to trading really safe, conservative trades like I teach you guys, okay? The trades that would you all agree that the trades that I teach you are like way safer than these penny stocks? Would you guys agree they're way safer and far more predictable in my main coaching program? They're far safer, far more predictable, right? Okay. 100% better, right? But what's the best we can hope to accomplish every month with the trades that I teach you now? 10% returns, 7% returns a month, right? So they're safer, but they cannot come anywhere close to getting the types of returns you can get when you're trading penny stocks, right? They're good. Who doesn't like 5% a month? Who doesn't like 7% a month? Right? But you can't touch it. You can't touch it. You can't touch penny stocks for being the #1 vehicle to take a small account and turn it into a very large account, right? And if you're trying to build your account, then going with penny stocks with risk capital is not a terrible idea, right? With risk capital is not a terrible idea. As long as you know what you're doing, as long as you realize the true inherent dangers of this market, and more importantly, respect this market. When you trade penny stocks, you're literally jumping in to a tank filled with, great white sharks, right? Now, they might be 60 meters below you and you don't see them, but they are there because these suckers can move 3,000%. That's what the stock moved. Sorry. The stock ended up moving 1,200% in one day. And this is not uncommon. You will see one of these approximately every 30, 40 days. Okay? All right. So, warning. I will teach you, how do you join the buy campaign? Now, Andrew brings up a good question. How do you join that buy campaign? All right. So, I will strategies for buying penny stocks. Okay, I do have very good strategies for buying penny stocks, okay? But you would think that would be the smart thing to do, wouldn't you, Andrew? Right? But it's a really good question. I'm glad you brought it up, right? But what would be the catch? Because there's always a frickin' catch, isn't there? Right? There's always a catch. So what are the catches of buying these penny stocks? The catches are, when you buy this one, it loses a lot of money too. Remember, that just had a drop from the point that you bought it to the close. That lost 37%. You bought this one. Okay, that's different. You bought this one. Okay. Now that made a little bit of money, right? On that day. That one did okay, right? This one, you bought this one. You can see it drops from 183 down to 158. That's a huge move percentage-wise. That's a 15% drop. But you could buy it, right? What if we go to Thursday? We look at those trades, right? SLDB on Thursday. You bought this one. and it moves down. You bought this breakout, and it moves down 43% by the end of the day. You're losing, you're bleeding money, right? You're bleeding money on these. So the answer to your question is, why not buy them? What the answer should be, I should be able to buy these things, right? But here's the problem with that. The problem with that is that you're going to have 15 losers and one winner, one big winner. You're going to have 15 losers, right? 15 losers where you're going to lose. Let's just say hypothetically, you have let's say you're risking $100 per trade. You lose $100 15 times. So now your $5,000 account is down to $1,500, right, or $3,500. You can have a couple of small winners, right, and then you're going to have that one big winner. But guess what's going to happen, guys? In reality, come on, let's get real here, guys. Okay, let's get real. Let's say that you bought SPI on that day. Let's say you bought SPI on that day at 5. You're one of these typical retail traders that buys the breakout, right? So you bought the breakout at 5, right? And you bought 100 shares, right? And that stock pops to 9, right? It pops to 9, and you just made 100% on your $100, or now up $100. Are you going to hold on to that? Come on. Come on. Unless you have some inside knowledge about this company, you're going to at least take some profits, right? Definitely, right? Now, let's say you bought at 10 and it goes to 16 and you start seeing, these red candles right here. Are you going to take profits? In hindsight, looking at this, but that's 1, 2. You see this big fat doji there, right? That big reversal candle. Your brain is going to find every reason to take profits, right? The only people that are holding on to this thing into that big giant spike are the market maker. That's it. He's the only one. Not even the guys that are doing the pump and dump are holding on to this to 44, right? Now, the market maker is not doing the pump and dump. I want to be clear about that. The only one that's in that stock to 44 is the market maker, right? That's it. Just him. And he's got a gigantic account. And his average cost when it gets to 44 is going to be 35, more like 31.50. That's what his average cost is going to be. He's not afraid at all. Yeah, that's scary. But his average cost is here. Remember, the market maker is going to be on the other side of most of your trades. So he's going to be continuously shorting into this market. So his average is going to be here, right? He's not all in, all out like us. So why do we not buy these things? Well, a lot of people do try to buy these things, but I can assure you going down that road has the equal and opposite number of demons that you're going to have to overcome. It's great in hindsight, right? It looks sexy as can be. Right? You could make 1,000% return in one day, but without having the detailed knowledge of Conor McGregor or Floyd May. I don't know why he's my favorite fighter of all time. I can't say his name. Mayweather, right? Without Without having that skill and that knowledge, there's no way in the world you're ever going to ride that stock out and get the big line short. You might do it once and get really lucky, right? But you're never going to repeat that over a large sample size. Just never going to happen. Because you're going to get hurt so many times on the dog shit ones that you buy here and that go against you. That when you do get that one winner, you're going to, you're not going to be able to hold it and suck the bone marrow out of that thing. Okay? So to sum it all up, penny stocks are a great way if you have a small account to grow your account very big, but it has to be done in a very organized and a very methodical and a very steel disciplined way. Okay, you have to have checks and balances which make it impossible for you to be stupid. Okay, like for example, when I did it one time, and I'm just being 100% honest with you guys, when I ran my one account up to, I think I took a $5,000 account and I got close to 80,000, almost 89,000. This was many, many years ago. When I did that many years ago, it was like 5 years ago, maybe longer, 6. What happened was I was using stop losses every single time, but then one day I didn't, and bang, I got slapped in the face, and it lost it all in one day. Another time, I had the broker have a maximum loss on the day, and it took me out. But the broker let me change that maximum loss on the day, right? It made me, it allowed me to change that maximum loss on the day. And so I changed it, right? So you need a way where, and that's why the best way to trade penny stocks is at a prop firm where you have no control over it, and they just say, you lost, you had a $10,000 account, you lost $1,000 a day, you're turned off for the rest of the day. You can beg and plead and do whatever you want, but that's it. You're done for the day, right? You're done for the day, right? John says, I've tried the same with day options for 7 years and got burned so many times it makes it impossible to hold out for those 1,000% returns that do happen. Same thing with options, right? Options trading is pretty much the same as stock trading. So where does that leave us, guys? Where does that leave us? What if you had 2 people or 3 people watching an account, and you had some form of risk management? What if you took that control out of your own? What if you gave your wife, I tried to do this with my ex, but she would never go for it, right? I tried to say, you control the account, right? Because I'm prone. Remember, I just had 99 winning trades in a row, and then all of a sudden that SPI happens. I'm so used to winning, and I'm so used to seeing those winning profits, right? Of course I'm going to fire a few times on SPI. Why wouldn't you? It's worked so many times in the past. Right? Does that make sense? So we have to go beyond being human. We have to go beyond being human, because being human isn't good enough. I don't care who you are. It's not good enough. The big blow up is coming. There has to be a systematic system in place that is impossible for you to keep firing trade after trade or not getting stopped out. Okay? So that is your goal. If you are going to be a penny stock trader, I'm going to offer a course on how to do that. But the course is going to be completely useless to you unless you can put into place a process which makes it impossible, or next to impossible, because nothing is impossible, right? There's still risk. Next to impossible for that catastrophe to happen, both on longs or shorts. Do you guys all understand that, right? It's just an illusion. So when I make a video and I say 100% returns in 3 days, it's going to be sexy, shiny, bright. People are going to love it. And the fact that I can prove it and did it in front of you guys, it means F all. It means F all. Because all that matters is, can I keep it? That's all that matters. Right? So that's what I am developing right now. I'm going to start trading some penny stocks. And John and I are going to be working very diligently on creating or transferring the algo over so that this can never happen and only the best things can happen to us. And if we can't do that with stocks, right, and it can't be as successful, then we have to have some other system in place, a check and balance. In other words, I have to give John the ability to log into the account and turn it off, right? Because if I'm sitting there placing the trades, I need somebody other than me who is unbiased to be able to log in and turn that trade off, right? So that has to be happening. But John has to be available 24/7, or somebody else has to be available 24 hours when you're trading to turn that off and change my password. John's got to log in, turn it off, and change the password. That's the only way, right? That's the only way that you're going to take and be successful at trading these types of high risk situations in order to get the high return. Okay? So we are going to do that, right? And like John said, the best idea of all is when you make it, take it out. Take it out. I will never make that mistake again, right? I will never make, unless I say, you know what, I'm going to put in $500 into a penny stock account, right? Because $5,000 is a lot of money to me, right? I don't have $5,000 to spit around. You guys might think I'm rich, but I'm not, right? I've made a lot of bad decisions in my life with my money. I mean, yes, I'm a great trader, but just because I'm one of the best traders in the world doesn't mean I'm rich, right? There's personal parts of life, right? So, you know, $5,000 is a lot of money to me. You know, $500, you know, how long would it take for me if I keep doubling that? Times 2, times 2, times 2, times 2. Count, where are we at? 5 right now? Times 2, 6, times 2, 7, times 2, 8, times 2, 9, times 2, 10. Turning $500 into $256,000. I have to double it 10 times. And you guys just saw me double an account in 3 days. Now that is extraordinary. Okay? But I do think you can double a penny stock account every month. I do think that's possible. Right? So if you took 500 times 2, 1, times 2, 2, times 2, 3, times 2, 4, times 2, 5, times 2, 6, times 2, 7, times 2, 8, times 2, 9. 9 times. In 9 months, you could run a $500 account up to $256,000. But remember, that's assuming that an SPI never happens to you. And when that SPI happens to you, you manage it properly. Okay? So I think I've clearly outlined the dangers and risks of penny stocks, as well as the good and bad. Okay? So we'll be doing a coaching package on that right now. So if you are interested in learning how I did this, how I will continue to do this, and how I've done it in the past, except without making the mistakes that I've made, right, in trying to do it in the past. Like, people might say to me, Steve, well, why aren't you a penny stock guru trader? Because the other trades that I teach and the other trades that I do, they are far, far, far safer. Far safer. But the catch is that you can't take a $500 account and run it to $250,000 in a year. It's impossible. It's impossible, right? You can take a $5,000 account and maybe double that in a year with the other stuff that I teach. That's very possible, right? So that's why I'm not a penny stock guru. That's why I don't trade penny stocks on a regular basis, because I know exactly how they end, because I've seen them end badly, not only for myself on 2, maybe 3 occasions, but for other people. So if we can get an algo working on it, then I will try them again. If not, then you have to have some other thing in place, okay? So if you want to learn how to do this, reach out to me. I'm going to be making a change on my website, adding a penny stock course. For those of you who are not students, any of my students, I will give a 50% discount to that course if you're interested. And for anybody new, that will be on my website. I can't log into my website right now. I'm doing some changes to it. But if you are interested, Skype me, SSP Trader, and say, Steve, I am interested in the penny stock course. Okay, so thank you. I'm going to stop the recording now. My group guys stay here for a couple of minutes longer because I do want to talk to you guys. So let me just stop this recording.